First I didn't think that I was cut enough to bleed. Then I saw my secrets getting swallowed by the sea. Through a telescope I saw a diamond glow. How you brought me home, I guess I'll never know. With God as my witness, never had it so good. Jumping into love, fires into dry wood. Started off as nothing, now it's gold, and it's all on you. With God as my witness, never had it so good. Jumping into love, fires into dry wood. Started off as nothing, now it's gold, and it's all on you.
Football, a sport that brings the nation together, the one common ground amongst all cultures and beliefs. However, there is still a divide that is overlooked. I found it astonishing that females still receive derogatory comments for simply playing the sport that they love.
Now this week there's been some comments about Alex Scott and her punditry on Sky Sports after she's become the first football pundit on Sky Sports in their history. And by comments, I mean hate. Have a day off. Your punditry is fucking shit. The only reason you're on TV is you tick a PC box, nothing else, and you know it. No one cares about anything you say. That Alex Scott is a shit pundit. No, not because she's a woman before you start, because she just chats shit. All those comments were from blokes who were very, very worried that a woman was on TV talking about a man's game.
Rachel is with us, as you know, her first time doing a football match on BT Sport in the Premier League. I've got a few messages that have come in over the last few hours, not specifically about you. There's been some great messages about you, but just in case you're sitting at home thinking, is this a debate that really needs to be had? Here's just a few messages coming in. Carl Weaver, what's with all the women punditry? Both BT Sport and Sky are doing it. Horrible. Churches Jamie, we're BT Sport. We have to be like Sky and have a token woman on to be politically correct. Dell Strain Comedian, I've watched football all my life. The women's game does not interest me. They have made an industry. They have made an industry and can play and have their own shows, but the rest is overkill. PC waffle, and it devalues the currency of the argument to point people. I'm not even going to bother reading the rest of that. The guy's talking nonsense. I don't know what's here. Mark says, man's game, end of. Women's game, end of. Two separate sports. Same on the terraces. You can't fart without a woman pulling her face and saying, that's out of order, I'm going to tell the steward. Mr. Abbott, they're taking over and it's awful. So those are just 4 messages that have come in on social media, and it's got to the point where when someone like Rachel comes and talks about football, or Alex Scott on Sky sits and talks about football, they get so much criticism they have to put things like this on social media. This is from Alex last week. She says, I'm not out here trying to be better than any male or female. There's room for us all to rise. I'm just trying to be the best I can be in the role I'm employed to do. As a dad, and we've all got kids, we've got daughters, it is heartbreaking to think that by having an opinion on football, you will get that kind of criticism. They're taking over and it's awful. That is someone sending a tweet like that in 2019. Give us your thoughts on it as a player that's got over 80 caps for England and can sit here and quite rightly have a conversation with us about the merits of the goalkeeping and any of the other play out there today.
I think similarly to what Alex was quoted up there, that we're not trying to, as sort of females, having certainly speak on from my part and from Alex, we've both played for England. We've been to World Cups, been to European Championships, played in the Olympics, played at the top level, played at the elite level. And of course, we don't play men's football because we're not men. So take that comparison away, it's ridiculous. We've played at the elite level, we've been professional footballers, and we do know our trade inside out, and that's football. It's not women's football, it's football. And with that, I do think anyone who's in any particular job, if they're not good enough, don't put them on there. If they are good enough, give them the opportunity to be on there.
I aim to find out why there is a social stigma around women in sport, which is why I have interviewed 4 self-proclaimed football experts to find out why. Would you describe yourself as a football fan?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, very big football fan.
Very big football.
Very big football fan, trust me. I know my football.
Yeah, I watch football. I go to matches.
Yeah, massive one.
I will describe myself as a football fan, yes.
What do you like about football?
It's just, it's unpredictable. Like, you just never know what's going to happen in football. You could have the best team in the Prem, and you can have like a League 2 team, and they can just come and mash up the big team. Like, it's unpredictable, it's fun, like, it's not always, it doesn't have to always be serious, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just kick ball, and it's fun. You can do it with your mates, watch it on TV, it's live.
I like the fact that it fills up my time and it's something to do and it's really entertaining.
It's quite a thrilling sport. Like, you can see communities come together. Like, if you go to a football match, you see like thousands of people, even hundreds of thousands of people supporting 11 players on the pitch and trying to see if they get the result.
Just from a young age, it's had a huge influence on me. So, primary school, when we went to the playground, football. Lunchtime, football. When I got home, on TV, football.
I love the competitiveness of the sport. I love how the fans are like, how the fans connect with each other. Like, when you're at the game, it doesn't matter who it is, who's next to you, you have a common interest and get along with them.
Do you have a favourite female footballer?
I don't really watch much female football, but Alex Morgan's quite good.
Alex Scott. Yeah, fam. Trust me, I know my football. Alex Scott used to be a right back for England and Arsenal, I think. Yeah, she was hard, fam. Like, trust me, she was hard.
No, I don't.
If I'm being honest, I don't watch it enough to have a favourite footballer.
No, I don't watch female football.
Can you name any female footballers?
Yep, you've got Steph Houghton, you have Tony Duggan, you have Marta from Brazil, just to name a few. I think Alex Scott, yeah, Alex Morgan as well.
Faces come to mind, but I can't think of the name. But no.
I'm not sure I can, but I do like know quite a lot of female, like by their faces and like how they play, but not any other names now.
Besides her, not really many.
Nope.
Have you ever watched a Women's Super League match?
Yes, I have.
I think I did watch about 15 minutes of a Arsenal game. I was just like, what's it called? Channel surfing in it, and I just saw that. I was like, why not? Like, that football, I watch any football, like anything. So.
I've been to one, the Arsenal ladies, but other than that, I've never really watched one online or on TV.
Never in my life.
Why is that?
Doesn't appeal to me as much as the men's one does.
I've never seen it, no.
Why do you watch male football but not female football?
I guess it's more just male football's more accessible. Like, it's more broadcasted. Like, if I'm looking up something, you always see the fixtures and what times can be on. And obviously, like, if you're going to a match, there's more people and you want to have a more lively experience than just. And like, if you look at like the Arsenal male stadium, it's got seats for thousands of people, whereas the female one is just in like a small stadium where not many people can be.
Well, all my idols from my childhood, obviously, they're male footballers. That's what I grew up with, so I'm sticking to that.
It's very. The best way to put it is, without being offensive, is you can only speak from a physical perspective that the males are always going to be physically stronger than males, and you always want to watch sport in its highest in its highest form, and that's not to be derogatory towards females, but men will always be more powerful and more faster. The plus side is though that doesn't take away the fact that women can still be as technical as men, so they just have the technical ability. But maybe the fact that women's football isn't as publicised. When it does come on TV on the BBC, it comes on BBC Two rather than BBC One, or the women's football show comes on at like 11:30 at night. So really, are those sociable hours? And BT Sport is not necessarily accessible for everyone.
It's a bit more, better quality football if I do say so myself. It's like really more entertaining, and I like watching the men.
I wouldn't say I don't watch or I don't choose to watch it. It's just that obviously it's kind of sad that people are more likely to pay attention to the male football because they might say that the quality is better, or that, you know, that it gets more attention because of that. But, you know, when you look at, let's say, Arsenal ladies, they win way more trophies than Arsenal men, and I find that hilarious. But like, obviously people still don't watch them as much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because it's women, that's probably the reason why. But like, if you want to see your team winning, like, it doesn't matter whether they're a guy or girl, like, they're winning trophies in there, and they're winning more than the men, and the men gets way more and they still play dead. So I don't get that, but you know, it is what it is.
Why do you think other people don't watch the Women's Super League?
Probably not on TV as much, and like, it's not really anywhere.
You know, everyone thinks football is a man's sport, and like, if you look at the wages, a male footballer can like earn up to 400k a week, whereas obviously a women's footballer doesn't get 10% of that.
You've got to, I think, because football has always been male dominated. It goes all the way back, and it's now become an ideology that football is for men, and girls who do play football are often referred to as tomboys. So there's always that stigma for men and females.
Just doesn't seem as, it's not as like advertised heavy in the media, and it just doesn't seem as competitive, to be honest.
Why?
Just doesn't. You don't have big names in the league, you know, that's going to draw you to watch it, to see the results that happen. That's why I watch the Premier League, the Champions League, because that's why. The big names, they bring me to it. I want to see the drama that happens, what unfolds on the pitch.
What about what unfolds on the female pitch?
Well, I've never watched a female match.
I think some people just think the men play better than women, that the game will be more physical and things like that. So people just think, oh, because it's girls, they won't try as hard, or it wouldn't be as good or something.
Why do you think that female football is yet to flourish in the same way as male football?
Also, I think double standards do have a part to play, and also it's just like, if you just look at from generations, even at school, you never really see females playing football. Like, if you go to like a football team at school, it's always going to be guys, and I think that's just a stereotype of it's always going to be a guys football team, and then obviously it doesn't bring as much light onto a female football team as it would for guys.
Again, I think it's just an ideology that's in everyone's head. I just don't think society accepts female football as serious as men's football.
It's time will come. Like, I feel like it will get there eventually, but it's just not got the same as men's football.
To be honest, I don't really know about that one. I think, like I said, that it sounds bad, but I just think it's because they're women. Like, that's actually the only reason. Like, if it was like under 17s men's game, people were more likely to go and watch that, like, than a woman's game. And that's not me trying to take the piss, but it's just the truth. Like, it's a bit sad.
There's social stigma around women playing football.
I think, as I said, it's to do with, like, obviously growing up, as I said, it's more guys to play football, and I think as well it's to do with how it's presented. Like, male football is everywhere. Like, you walk down the street and you'll see things for like the Champions League, but you never see anything for like women's football. And I think just because of that, like, social stereotypes, it's more portrayed as women don't play sports as much, or like football in general. And then if you look at, as I said, wages, the wage difference is quite vast.
Probably because people just want to watch men football. They don't want something else getting in the way, so they just want men football. I don't know.
I think it's age old that football's always been seen as a men's sport.
I just think that because throughout history, women have always been inferior in it. So like with women's rights and things like that, like they really had to fight to like get what they want. And even in some places today, women are only starting to get the rights to drive and like leave the house on their ones and stuff like that. So women still have a long way to go, but like I think eventually they'll get there. It's just that obviously they've always been, but men have always been seen to be like, I don't know, higher or superior to women. So that there's always going to be like that men's football will always be better simply because they're men. But like, I think one day like it should be some form of equality.
At some point somebody has told me that I can't make it as a footballer, but you don't listen to them, you just get on and prove them wrong.
I mean, people said that you wouldn't make it because you're a girl, you're not strong enough, you're not fit enough.
You can't kick it, or she should be in the kitchen.
How can you let her run past you? She's a girl. The usual ones would be it's for boys and this, that and the other.
Oh, girls can't play football. Comments about women's football and the standard of women's football, but a lot of the time that's from people that haven't actually been to watch games. You know, don't kind of slate something until you've actually seen it and tried it.
If they haven't seen a women's game, they need to come and see a game. Because if they don't, what are they basing that on? And I think if they do come and watch it, they'll be back to watch more.
I wrote that I wanted to be a professional footballer, and I remember the teacher now said, oh, females won't be professional footballers, so it's nice to kind of look back now and just think, like, there's people really making a good go of it, so you can just eat your words.